Welcome back after that really intense ad break in this studio. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever felt that under pressure since maybe I had a job at Target and I had somewhere to be.
Pop quiz. The only job you've ever had?
No, I also worked at Mambo for a while.
Mad.
And I just remember that guy always saying, I'm going to start my own brand. And instead of having a dog farting, it's just going to be a dog that has, like way more intense, And I'm having this meeting with this guy that's a distributor in Asia, and he's really keen and into it. And then I remember saying to him the next day, did you go? And he said, no. I said, why? Why? This man was 28 years old at the time. I was 19, and I was like, that is the worst move you could have ever made. And then his response was, quote, because I think that summer nights are for partying. He thought that was a good response.
Yeah. I don't know what Mambo is. Can you tell me that?
You know what Mambo is?
Wait, does it have anything to do with Mambo Jambo?
Okay, boys.
I don't know what that is, so
we're gonna have to
Mumbo Jumbo. Go on.
switch him out.
Yeah.
Too un-Australian, too unpatriotic.
Yeah.
It would be the closest thing that we
replace
have
me
to those Muslim clothes that you have, Ali. That is the most Australian,
Muslim
iconic.
What, Mambo?
Yeah.
What
But
is a Mambo?
It was
It's our
basically just
it's
a
like
shirt with a cartoon on it that
a dog fighting.
50% of the time gave you a bit of a
Wait, so there's a
Australian
whole
empire.
industry for it? Like there's different stores that just sell those shirts?
Yeah, there was. I think it went under. Did Mambo go under?
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I have a feeling that
skating
variety
on-
wasn't something that they were looking too into.
well,
So
that's
annoying.
Dude, yeah. Look,
Go on. Let's
there's been
start
many
with our
red hot
segment.
moments on this podcast, but that one I was just really lost for words.
Yeah, I don't know what to say to that.
I know what I'm doing. Oh, it's time for tea.
Oh, yeah, Jordan's getting tea.
Jordan is a ridiculous
Should we all
man.
collectively tell him about Mambo? Is there any comments about the Mambo?
Yeah. Oh my God, Ali. Poop shoot. Mambo is just a Kmart brand now.
Yeah, it is. They're right. My team's over there. Fill it up, please. Please.
This is ridiculous.
Yeah, it actually got Mambo got bought out by I think like Target, which is really lame because it used to be a fucking awesome company. But
Yeah, dude, most companies, actually, that's one of
all
our
I wore,
segments.
dude, all I wore was Mambo. You know, like from like ages, I don't know, 6 to like 16. It was just Mambo.
Yeah.
That's all I wore,
And SMP belts.
and a bit of World Industries.
And who could
SMP.
forget gel? The ultimate look for year 6. I think we can all agree with this, boys. If you were going to the year 6 formal, you were at the tuxedo equivalent would have just been wearing jeans that were deliberately dyed at the front,
Oh wow.
World Industry shoes, SMP belt.
World Industries didn't make shoes, I don't think.
Oh, no,
Humans.
human shoes, the World Industry shirt,
Yeah.
that's right. With the
Lame
flame
boy,
and the...
Lame boy and water thingy. Yeah. Sorry, this is a deep dive here. And
That's okay. I just remember that I got sent home from my year 6 formal.
What did you do?
Oh, here we
Because
go.
I was wearing a
I
shirt.
killed a German Shepherd.
Well, I mean, it was kind of barking unnecessary, so...
I killed it too early.
What can they say? Dogs are a filthy animal.
Yeah.
It's because of fucking Australia. Well, like, I think my auntie got me a shirt that just said, no wucking furries.
In Pakistan.
Yeah, and I wore that, and they sent me home. They were saying, you're lucky we're
And
not
like that,
suspending
the
you."
patriotism level comes straight back. King. He doesn't have to know about
No wonder he
Mambo.
doesn't know about... Yeah, he didn't have the time.
Yeah, he bypassed Mambo. He was repping the high level shit.
But that's not Mambo, is it? That was just a shirt with, like, some
No, but it's
cartoon-
way more badass than Mambo ever was.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Way more.
You should be proud of yourself, Ali.
No,
I was sad, man. Like, at the time I was, because, like, all my friends were having fun, but in hindsight, it was probably the right thing to do.
no,
Yeah,
dude.
I think you did.
Yeah.
Look, you should die on your deathbed, and that should be the last memory that you have before you come forever.
No, come on. Killing the dogs.
He didn't kill any dogs.
I swear.
That's what you think. All right, let's move on to our first segment.
Yeah.
please.
No, like,
yeah?
did you kill any dogs or?
I have
Fuck,
What?
so,
Oh.
so long to answer.
Made-
I know for a fact I've never killed a dog. I
Our
can say that.
maybe I have.
Our producer's eyes made me just really quickly like run through my head. It was like, can we not say that on Twitch? Is that like one of the banned things? Like, no feet and don't talk about killing dogs. It's a sex thing. Yeah, no.
I don't know if I have or if I haven't.
What? How can you not answer that?
Because I don't know if one time what was under my car's tire. It could have been nothing. It could have been
A ghost?
a bottle,
Yep.
A ghost?
or it could have been a puppy.
Yeah. Bottles don't usually yelp, so
Yeah, no, there was no yelping. There was no yelping. All I know is that, like literally days
not happy.
after.
no. But haven't we all?
What, killed a dog?
I might have killed a cat.
I might have killed a cat.
Yeah, but. Well, yeah, but I still I don't know if I did or not.
What?
The deep wet.
But never on purpose, if that's what you guys are hinting at.
Right. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
I mean, look, a lot of people have gotten off of jail by saying it was an accident, but we'll take your word for it this once, Ali. You are on notice, though.
There was that other one that like I sort of knifed, but that's just because I'm kind of
Yeah,
crazy
yeah.
and that was fun.
Well,
Knifing.
replace car with shovel.
Oh,
Dude, I have some like
Ping.
I'm not gonna get into that.
What?
God.
I've got some really intense. Dude, I come from Pakistan. I have intense stories about dogs getting killed by.
Yeah, but that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Okay. Go on.
Oh man, I'm sorry that I opened up that wormhole.
Yeah,
Jeez, I just thought there'd be a quick no,
And-
you'd be absolved, but instead you've thrown everyone you know in Pakistan under the bus.
Well, a lot of them should be fucking under the bus after those stories.
Holy shit.
But can we let's move on to our.
Yeah, let's move on to the next subject, which is infinite universes, and focus on a universe where all of Ali's friends work at the RSPCA.
yeah, all of them.
They're
Yes.
not my friends. They're just folks that I know.
They're at the RSPCA, and
Why
like
have-
when they're doing surgery, and like the assistant is like handing them the scalpel. They're just like, the hand should not stop.
That's a
we
joke
explained
that,
that?
most people wouldn't understand. So the hands
We do have to explain that before we go on to the first segment. This is a bonus first segment. When I was in Pakistan with Ali, I noticed that all of his friends, were slacker servants than what I'd imagine Queen Victoria would have been.
Dude, don't ruin like literally my life.
Nah, it's funny. Come on, it's funny.
No, being mean to servants is fine. I think everybody's pro that. If you're a servant in life, it's because of bad karma. There, I said it.
Oh my God,
Look, it's true.
that's red hot for me.
How else do you explain their miserable existence?
You can't, can you? Jesus.
Jesus did it.
Just gonna throw it out there.
How implausible. No, it was because they were really bad-mannered tapeworm. Now,
What?
Yeah,
Wait, what?
that's how reincarnation works. Look it up in your own time. Moving on.
All right. Satguru. Isn't it? Yes, it is.
Are you still into Satguru?
Yes, I am. Very much so. I shouldn't do the accent. That's like incredibly racist, apparently. But you know,
Satguru is like the Hindu Slavoj Žižek. You can literally listen to him for 2 hours, and at the end of it, did I learn anything?
Yeah.
What was he saying?
yeah, it is a bit
Hey,
like.
do you want to introduce Satguru? Give him some.
Oh,
more
actually, you know what
views.
we should say? Slavoj Žižek is Eastern Europe's Indian guru.
Yeah.
Because all Indian gurus are like that.
I don't know about that guy.
Yeah,
What's
he's
his
a
deal?
philosopher.
I assume he.
No one knows what his deal is. I'm pretty sure he doesn't know what his deal is.
I just assume
His
he works.
deal is
I think he's probably, no one can understand what he's saying. He's probably just sitting there being like, today we are going to talk about why I am worth so much money. Why do people pay $200 a ticket for this? You think that I'm the voiceover for Donald Duck. Is that it?
the voice of a generation.
Yeah.
That's insane. I've never even like heard of the dude.
Slavoj Žižek.
He's extremely interesting, but Chomsky summed it up best when he said, I would have a criticism of Slavoj Žižek if I could understand anything he said, but to my knowledge, he
That's rich
effectively
coming
said
from-
nothing his entire...
That's rich coming from Chomsky.
But he means it in a different
What?
way. Like he's saying
You can't
like, no
understand
one can understand Chomsky.
No, I'm just. It's like.
Chomsky's clearer than Stephen Hawking's robot voice, and I'm pretty sure he is Stephen Hawking's robot voice.
I disagree. In fact, I would like if I don't know if Chomsky has a Patreon, but I would monthly.
I'm gonna check now.
Check. I would monthly.
Chomsky's Patreon.
I would monthly pay $10 a month for Chomsky's Patreon just for the sole fact for the money to go to his assistant to put up the mic, the lapel mic on his interviews. Just just one more little thingy.
I don't understand how they haven't figured this out yet.
I know.
I've got news. Chomsky does not have a Patreon, but another man named Drone Chomsky does. And guess how many patrons he has?
How many?
1 patron.
Okay, guys, new Twitch goal. If we could get Drone Chomsky up to 5 patrons throughout this Twitch stream,
No.
there was a tea bag that was mummified. And look, we were going to, in our own self-interest, see if we got 50 new subscribers to Twitch, he was going to drink his own mummified tea bag from last week.
Yeah.
But I think for the greater good, we're going to have to increase Drone Chomsky's
I agree. Yeah.
patrons
I agree.
by
You don't want money,
fivefold.
give it to Drone Chomsky.
I think he needs it.
instead.
I think he needs it.
Come on.
He's got nothing, like no information
What does
of
he
what
do?
he does.
He doesn't say.
It just,
He's just got a
he
really
literally
abstract-
has like just a picture of like a
Gumby.
just
like
a
Gumby.
layout of a random house.
And then
Just like it's a map of a house.
it's a
Come on, guys. He's trying to build a home for himself. Please.
It says he's creating podcasts and posts.
Oh, bullshit, dude.
He did post something.
Where's your podcast? Hey, everyone's got to start somewhere.
Well, find out Drone Chomsky's podcast. I feel like it's not that successful. He has 1 patron.
Yeah.
Dan,
And
let's
it
go.
might
And he seems to refuse to do the podcast until that house is built.
He's trying to build the house first, and then he'll set up this microphone when he
Later.
turns like 94 and be like, "Let's talk about Black Lives Matter." You know,
Finally.
far out.
Some big questions. Dude, I'm going to move on to my segment because it relates to like a lot of things that we've mentioned before. But, Jordan, does Jeff Bezos how do you even pronounce it? Bezos, right? Does Jeff Bezos scare you?
Yes.
I think he scares everyone.
All right, well, moving on. 'Cause that's what I
That was the
trying to-
segment, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for your generous subscriptions.
No,
Yeah, thank you for the support.
That was a substantive portion of today's Twitch.
Back to World Industries. Was it better when it was Flame Boy and Water Boy, or just Flame Boy?
And did you know that Jeff Bezos owns World Industries now?
Dude, Jeff Bezos literally owns.
I'm 100% certain
Yeah, it's
he
probably
does.
true.
Jeff Bezos owns us. He owns Twitch.
Yeah.
Does he?
Yeah, he does. We're technically employed without any money
Dude,
from Jeff Bezos.
when are they going to figure out this, capitalism doesn't work? Like, these companies are too goddamn big. Monopoly, you played the game before? Well, we're in it. We're in it, goddammit. You there.
Well-
we're in it. We're in it.
I'm glad you brought that up.
Break-
because That's what the segment was actually about.
Let's break
That's
it.
true, but Ali, you can't add anything to that.
What do you mean?
Too woke?
You're saying like 2 days of research is useless?
Yes.
Get out of here. I'm going to go
Clearly.
into it. Hey,
A guy that looks like he works in the wharfs in Boston just summed it up. And, dude, he's got something that you don't have. Street smart.
Street smart. Yo, what you want to do is you want to buy a big trout, right? You chop it up, the head, you can make stock out of it. You're going to save $4 on the pound, and you've got a whole week's worth of stock. Don't go to fucking Woolworths.
My ma used to like the eye. Can you believe that?
I can't believe that. That's disgusting. That is disgusting, Joey.
Your ma's sick. Hey, don't talk about my ma like that.
Yeah, you're acting like a joke.
Oh, damn, we've just written the script for the next Scorsese film.
Yeah, patent pending. And it's called just like Joey Fish Joe Jr. Shabadoo on the streets of Boston, see?
Gets even.
why are all of them Joeys?
Because they're from Italy.
Are they
And
from Italy? No, they're Irish.
Ireland.
Yeah, they're Irish.
Yeah, but it's either Joey or Patrick. You know?
Can anyone add any more to Scorsese's career than Mislav? Would you like to act this out?
Okay, I have to remember.
Have we summed up his entire carear with just this?
I don't know if we've done it. Do I? Oh, yeah. Yo, I think, correct me if this is wrong, but isn't it just kind of like, yo, how's the shop going?
Yeah, it's not going bad.
Yeah, it's
but
not.
I think it's kind of a joke question for you to ask that.
Hey, what do you mean a joke? Are you calling me a joke?
I'm just saying it's kind of a jokey question. I'm not saying you're a joke. I'm just saying
Are
it's...
you calling me a joke or what?
I'm not saying that at all. I'm saying that if you are saying that about
Saying
my
I'm like
shop...
a joke. I'm saying I'm like a joke.
Yeah, I'm saying you like a joke.
Well, I tell you what, you're a joke off.
Hey, fuck you. That's the whole thing. That's the whole fucking. That's everything I've ever done.
Give them the Oscar.
Millionaires
Best
overnight.
screenplay.
Millionaire.
Dude, I was entertained. Like, I was totally into this movie. I was like, wait, is he going to kill him? Who's going to kill who?
Yeah. And it's always inexplicably, it's like, yo, get this. It's set in New York or South Boston. Every fucking time.
Oh,
You best believe someone is getting whacked and there's some confusion. But the confusion gets figured out by the end, and then you kind of feel like Italian food after the movie.
Dude, I can't compete with that. I've spent 2 days researching on something, and that was so much better. I'm quitting this show. I've got to go home.
No, dude. I want the stats.
to
Come
go
on. How many
home.
billions does he have? How many yachts does he have? I want to hear it.
No,
What's he
because
like to
anything
eat?
that I say is going to be redundant after that.
That's got nothing to do with him. Come on, give it to
Yeah,
him.
all right. So, okay.
Oh.
Just
say-
listen to me. Listen to
Yeah,
me.
there you go. Just say, yo.
Jeff Bezos
No,
guy,
come on,
right?
come on. Start it with this. Yo, I'm talking.
Yo, I'm talking to you.
Yeah, there we go.
Jesus. Boy,
Well, so some goddamn respect.
Studying.
That's the secret ingredient to everything. It's just like long discussions about like, can't believe you disrespect me like that.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
eat
yeah.
my mom's pasta sauce. You don't say anything
yeah,
about
dude,
it.
I was
Like
about
that.
to say, you ate my mom's lasagna and you're talking like this.
And you can do this sort
You're
of
a
like...
grateful bastard.
Yeah, I've been studying all night. You think I want to sit these exams? Like, you're not going to listen to me studying my exams. And you're going to study. You're going to study all night. And then there you go. Then you just go with that, you know.
All right, okay, so monopolistic economics is what I needed to really talk about. Dude, I bought something from Amazon, which is one of those circle lights that women use for makeup tutorials.
yeah.
So I got that because I didn't realize that they were
Starting a makeup tutorial channel. We get it.
Yeah, I
I would watch
may as
the
well.
shit out of that.
Yeah, I may as well at this point.
Ali's A game. Is that what we're gonna call it?
How to look pretty.
Ali's A game. That would be amazing.
Yeah.
A little 30-second intro.
How to improve-
I'm going to show you how to be stunning, and then at the end it just has a shot
How
of
to
you kissing the
improve
screen.
on perfection.
yeah. And then you have to work in some sort
Come
of
on,
like
girls, let's
Muslim
get
rhetoric.
gorgeous.
Like be like, get him, like, I don't know, like half crescent moon. I don't know, like something about just sort of like
Eat couture and makeup procedure.
yeah, it's sort of like
Dude, there's like a market for it.
This is like it's who's a famous who's a famous artist who does that shit.
No idea.
How we would not know. But
right.
but
Well,
they are
insert-
much more famous than anyone else that we do.
Okay,
know.
but then how about this? Insert name
For a
here.
short amount of time, because you go and look at their channel, and it'll have like maybe 300,000 subscribers, and then you'll 3 million subscribers, and then you look at it, there's about 30.
Dude, I have like I can't get. I don't want to do. But I literally.
As long as there's a line in it at one point where you're just kind of like, sort of like eyeshadows out, eat your heart out. Kiss. Eat your heart out?
Yeah,
It's not Getaway, dude.
Yeah.
It's no, they
a
just
shame.
sit there and they're just like every time they're just like, "Hi guys, I'm going to teach you." Oh my god, I screwed that up. Let's start again. Hi guys, they show their editing mistakes.
Yeah,
I don't know
hate
why that's
that.
a trend.
yeah, but they're
it's a
genius.
very
That's show business. That's what you do.
It is show business. It's like, ooh, they're
Please
a
start
real
the next
person.
Holsworthy live with that.
Fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna just.
Whoops.
Dude, that's a
embarrassing.
I found my goddamn introduction.
Yeah.
All right, okay, listen.
Anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
Getting distracted here or what?
having said that, I recently matched up with someone on Tinder who is exactly the scenario that you guys are talking about. 3 years ago, they released a video, 1 million views.
Whoa.
1 million views. These days,
it guitar
they
pedals?
release a video and it's 2,000 views.
That's still not bad.
Who is it?
It's still not bad.
I'm not telling that.
Oh, for
Dude,
well, we can kind of.
it would be
can't
so
we?
unfair.
There's not that many channels with 1 million.
It would be so unfair for her.
Isaac Butterfield or something.
No,
you
a
were on a
makeup
date with
chick.
Isaac.
A
Yeah, of
makeup
course
chick.
he was.
A makeup chick. Dude, that's... I have so many questions. One, was she hot? Two,
That's not. We're not getting into those
Okay,
questions.
all right.
One,
No.
was she hot? Why is that the first fucking question?
Ow.
Dude, listen.
Got your number.
No.
The audience got their carrots. We need to give them some of the sticks.
Yes, here.
Or whatever. Is that the expression?
No.
Anyways, monopolistic economy.
Wait, you're saying that your segment is hitting your audience?
Yeah, what's the
Yeah,
expression?
no, it's.
I don't know.
You gave them some dessert. Here's the main course.
Yeah.
And they had
It's
their
not
dessert.
the okay, fine, whatever. You know when you give them like carrots and something sweet, so you gotta like, doesn't matter.
I don't know that
English is
one.
not my first language. Listen, some monopolistic dude. I got that makeup thing or whatever, right? And then Amazon offered me a 30-day free trial for this package that they have. And I was looking into it and I figured out why the fuck Jeff Bezos keeps buying up his competition. So you get like free next day delivery. Anything that
Really?
you order. Literally
On Amazon?
free next day delivery. Some random Indian guy who is not associated with any like company came to drop off my package. Literally the next day. Second, they also like gave in like free subscription to Amazon Prime with it. So like it's a lot of shit that you get for not that much money. And then I was like, fuck, I definitely need to try not to make sure I renew this trial. I did take the trial for the first 30 days.
So wait, you're
without
saying it's a
money.
good company now?
No, I'm saying that it's so good
Yeah.
that's not good.
Yeah, it's like too good, right? Yeah.
Because
I mean,
It's the best company in the world.
but
okay, so like
Move over a Porto.
now, so
or Gallo.
Yeah.
what I'm saying, I'm gonna go into like some brief history
right.
on like why monopolies occur in the first place. So like the traditional idea of capitalism was obviously very against monopoly, but they argued that the free market would allow
Free market.
monopolies not to be formed, which is kind of true, but it's
Talking about
based on
Adam
like
Smith?
from Adam Smith, but it's like a very primitive understanding of the economy. So the way they look at it, and they're right, is that look, if you've got a town, you've got a butcher, you've got someone that sells carpets, blah blah blah, whatever sort of industry. What you want is free market within that, because if there's another butcher, the prices would go down. There'll be more competition.
Yeah.
It'll be good for everyone. What they didn't take into account is like a more complex form of economy where the butcher, it doesn't only have a butcher's shop, but now he owns all the cattle that supplies the cows to him. So that what it does is capitalism eventually sort of allows you to laterally move and buy up everything
Yeah.
if you're good enough initially, and then you become a monopoly where like you get to like decide prices. We understood this back in the day. We understood how horrible monopolies can be.
FDR.
Adam Smith did understand that, didn't he?
Adam Smith understood it
Yeah.
too, but like even Woodrow Wilson, like a politician, they completely.
And FDR.
In fact, like that's why they broke up.
I think everyone understands it. It's just that people don't have a conscience anymore.
now they don't, right? Because it's not happening now,
right.
and I'll tell you why it's not happening. So back in the day, it started getting exposed with like these. The OG Jeff Bezos, where like J.D. Rockefellers, ExxonMobil, these companies were just getting too big. They owned all the oil, they owned the petrol stations that were
Sammy
supplying oil. They started putting in stake in the cars that were using these oil. So they were like J.D. Rockefeller at one time, adjusted for inflation, owned close to $300 billion in today's world. That's more than Jeff Bezos, like.
But they got broken up.
But
right?
they got
No,
broken
that's
up
not more
because
than
there was
Jeff
a
Bezos.
different attitude towards monopolistic economics back in the day.
They saw it. They saw the downside of it.
They saw the downside of it, but for two specific reasons why they were able to see it. First, they were afraid that monopolistic economics is going to lead to revolutions. And in fact, in places where they didn't care about it, places like Japan, Germany, Spain, ended up having a revolution.
Really?
The Second World War eventually ended that kind of experimental revolution, which was nationalism, or like fascist nationalism.
Right.
But the U.S. and Wilson like actually recognized this really well for two reasons. One, to avoid revolution, very practical. Second was how it's horrible for the economy, and what it was because back in the day we were depending on a lot of people that gave us taxes through whatever their wage earnings or companies. What they realized was if monopolistic economics keeps growing, it's going to eat up the people that were giving us the taxes in the first place. So eventually, in the long run,
It's gonna eat up. What do you mean?
it's going to eat up the people that were
right.
giving us taxes based on their earnings. But because this one company keeps buying all of the other companies, our net sort of base of where our taxes is coming from is getting reduced. That was the understanding that they had. That sort of changed over the years. For one of the things that happened was like after the Second World War, with the death of that fascist nationalism, FDR and everyone, they realized how right they were about breaking monopolies. So they enacted intense legislation, which are the trust laws, to make sure that monopolies aren't formed. So things like
You can break them up.
Yeah, and if they are, then you break them up like they did.
Just quickly, is the only advantages of Monopoly is just like, A, that's cheap. Is that it?
Well, that was actually you're right. That was the chief argument because this all changed in the post-war years. That was the chief argument for it to change.
That's why
Yeah,
manufacturing.
the next one after that is when you look up celebrity net worth, you're impressed by how much certain people are worth.
I do that.
Yeah.
Down from that.
Yeah. But that's obviously why manufacturing moved to China.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I did. So what ended up happening was the American economy sort of engineered itself in a way where they weren't actually manufacturing a lot of shit and they were depending on other countries' manufacture. They basically depended on Wall Street. So they realized it actually doesn't really matter if everyone is paying us a lot of taxes. What really matters is a few companies on Wall Street registered are making so much money that floats our entire economy. And then what you started seeing was...
You're dependent on them.
Yeah, you're dependent on... And then it was actually a very concerted effort. There was this one random opinion, like a columnist, I can't remember his exact... I think his last name was Burke, who started in the days when...
John Burke.
Bert Newton.
Burke Newton.
Burke Newton.
Woke.
He was the one who was like...
Your powers combined. Holy crap. Wouldn't that be amazing?
Sorry,
A
dude, keep
Captain
going.
Planet of Bert Newton
And-
Graham Kennedy
And
Tom
Carl
Burke,
Stefanovic.
Rex Hunt. Wait, who? Yeah, and Carl Stefanovic.
And the big fat chef too.
Yeah, I am Huey from Huey's Cooking Adventures.
With the added knowledge of butter, it's pretty yummy. Go on. Sorry, dude.
That's the heart.
I forgot... I forgot to make fart noises. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you've got to go, yo!
You've got no one to blame but yourself, Harlan.
You've got to say, yo!
I forgot how I was told explicitly to put
say
in
yo
fart
more.
noises. Okay, yeah, yo, all right. Yo, listen to me.
Fuck.
And then him.
Hey, he's talking to
Right,
you.
yeah, yo, he's talking straight.
Yo, mister, shut the fuck up.
Yo, you shut don't tell me to shut the fuck up. You shut the fuck up.
So this one random dude who was literally no one, who used to pen articles for like conservative media news organizations, and he would argue that actually monopolies aren't that bad, and it actually leads to like consumer prices going down. This guy was straight away promoted in a matter of a decade, and he was made this academic. He actually formed U.S.'s economic policy. This random guy who no one knew
In the 80s?
because he had the right opinion. So, anyways, so what ended up happening was that they made sure that
Is this Buchanan?
no, his name was.
Buchanan, Pat Buchanan.
Not Pat Buchanan.
Oh, my bad.
I'll look it up. And anyway, so they started like watering away these laws, these trust laws, for to make sure that there weren't monopolies. And in fact, the laws that were still there, they made sure that the people that were enforcing it weren't actually enforcing it. Anyway, so now we've reached a point because of this thing where like our entire economy is becoming extremely monopolistic with this tech revolution, right?
Facebook, Twitter.
All of them. And not only are they they're buying each other, they are extremely big. And they're like, so for example,
They're
like
buying up everything.
they're buying up all of their competition, and no one like
scary.
things like and the way they got it. So the one of the examples that I remember reading was when Facebook acquired Instagram.
Yeah.
That is not a merger that should have ever been allowed, but because they chose their metrics differently, they're also like are the bureaus that are supposed to take care, the watchdogs are also like still living in the 50s.
Fuck, when did Ali turn into Tucker Carlson?
Yeah, I'm loving it.
He's got the same
And Seattle is under control by the
Can you
anarchists.
wince your eyes more like this into this face? Look. Yeah, there you go.
Why?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Yeah, there you go.
Why would
The
you?
most troubling part is Mark Zuckerberg is a social justice warrior.
Yeah. And when the mob comes for you, and they will come for you.
No, I love Zinger Burger. He brought in Trump, and that gave me several laughs. He probably increased like at least 2 years of my life.
What?
Dude, Trump, like just watching him. I think
right.
it
And
increased.
Zuckerberg dominant in two economies. The
sorry, yeah.
economy and the meme economy.
Yeah.
So-
no, but you are. I'm loving
So
this.
Facebook acquired Instagram.
Yeah.
And they allowed it because they were saying, even though Instagram was the entire competition for Facebook, they allowed it because Instagram at the time wasn't making billions and billions of dollars. So they based it on the fact that, oh, look, this is a smaller company, this is a big company, it makes sense. But what they didn't like focus into was that Facebook wasn't really after the money because the initial game is to actually get people's attention and retention. That's the big game right now.
It's not about the money. It's about like, if you're so big, you don't need the money.
What you need,
everything.
what is like the 21st century oil is data.
Data.
Yeah.
Data.
Scary.
And actually attention.
TikTok.
These are the two things. If you've got this shit,
Yeah.
people would be willing to give you billions. And now, look, Facebook completely controls that entire market. These organizations are. Bill Maher recently did like a new rule on Jeff Bezos where he was saying
You were spot on.
he was so spot on.
I
He was like,
disagree with it, man.
He starts off with saying, "Here's the thing. Let's give Jeff Bezos a certificate first. You've won this game. This game, you did it. Champion, winner, chicken
Is he
dinner.
the richest person in the world?
The history of humanity.
Yeah. Well, J.D. Rockefeller was adjusted for. But anyways, yeah, he is like he's the
I don't
richest
know,
person.
Soldier Boy.
Those glasses were ingenious, very entrepreneurial, wide out. Ooh.
Bezos,
Didn't think of that.
Seinfeld.
Can't explain that.
Yeah, Bezos and Seinfeld.
What really?
What a
Well,
age
there's some
we live in.
justice in the world, isn't there?
No, Seinfeld
Yeah, that new
is not.
stand-up show.
It's Bill Gates.
Oh, Bill Gates.
Yeah,
right.
Bill Gates. But you know what was like? What was
I can't believe that is $1 billion achievement in life.
what
What?
Seinfeld?
I can. That makes a lot. That makes a lot more sense to me than Bezos or fucking Bill Gates.
Of course it does.
Serenity
I don't deny.
But anyway, so like the bigger problem
You want
is
seltzer? I want salsa. Salsa.
the bigger problem is that at this point, what these tech companies, because this is just the tip of the iceberg, what they're doing at this point is basically taking over the entire market.
Yeah.
Right. Some politicians would be like, well, I don't know if they're paying taxes, whatever. They might be okay with it. The second phase of that is that because these are going to be the biggest companies and the richest companies, they're going to buy all of the technology that is going to usher in the next technological revolution.
And then they'll have
so
a
they'll just
monopoly on
own
that.
everything.
Yeah,
That
dude,
you-
it's fucked. It's. I don't know how people don't see this as like the sword of Damocles hanging down. Like it's insanity. I don't understand how.
I think everyone does see it, but it's probably too late.
No,
Maybe it's
I
too
think you
late.
can retrospectively break them up.
Well, okay.
And also, there's like huge advantages to
I'm
breaking
sure
them
that
up.
they have
Yeah,
the
of course
legal
there are.
requirements to do this.
That's what I'm saying. At least in the U.S., because these are mostly
Yeah.
U.S. companies. The legal, there's two reasons why legally it's unable to succeed. One of them is the people that are enforcing them are literally so powerful. They're basically like the same people that were enforcing Wall Street not to do speculative investing before the 2008 financial crisis, meaning they are useless. They're not able to do it. They have no power. They're given a lot of money to not do it.
I do like the fact that they are controlling the world as opposed to banks and fossil fuel industries.
Yeah, but
they
they're-
don't have any
no, but the
interest in
banks-
destroying the planet.
that I will pay that.
Well, the
I will
tech
pay
guys-
that. They want robots. They just want dogs that are robots, right? That's
Yeah, but look. Here's the thing about like,
robot dogs.
But the thing about like fossil fuel industry and climate change is that the transition is going to happen. What we're really arguing over here, how long it's going to take.
Yeah.
It's going to have like wars.
England's-
It's going to have people dying. It's going to have a
England's
lot of
just shut
shit.
down their coal mines. Texas is completely renewable. Basically,
It's a
South
matter of
Australia.
time.
It's happening. It's happening.
Yeah, it's
I mean, like England, South Australia, and Texas doing stuff isn't exactly.
eventually
the
it will happen.
Isn't it?
Eventually
I
we're
don't
moving
know.
to
Look,
because
it's a very tight time frame.
Yeah, it is.
And
it doesn't matter
fossil fuels are dragging their feet.
because
And actually, I know this about big tech. They are influencing elections towards candidates that are pro climate change action.
yeah, because it's in their interest. But what I'm
But that's
saying,
great.
Jordan, is that I'm not talking about the next 50 years. I'm talking about the next 300 years.
Right.
Eventually, this problem is going to get solved, and then you'll have a bigger fucking problem in your
Will it
hand,
be- will
which
it
is
be
these
Blade Runner?
extremely
Don't you think
powerful.
it's just kind of inevitable, though.
I feel like-
No,
It's
I don't
gonna
think
be
it's
robots to take
inevitable. If you
over.
have people like Woodrow Wilson, like they were, that's what I'm saying. Like J.D. Rockefeller, all these oil companies, they were in the same position, but we did something. We fucking broke them up,
Again,
and
let
this
me
was
ask-
a popular
How much
position
better
back
would
in
it
the
be,
day.
though, for the government to just say, you don't own this anymore. This is now the US property. That would
But
be
can I-
so
okay,
much
can I
better
just-
for the US to just
but
say,
can I just
this is our
ask-
property.
Yeah, they
Can I just-
could,
can I
and
just-
that would. So it's not inevitable. In
I
fact,
just-
yeah. Sorry, yeah, go on.
It's a good question. What's the net worth of like the Republic of China? What's their
Like
net
the
worth?
total,
The government, yeah.
as in their GDP.
Yeah.
I
Couple
think
of
it's
trillion,
close to
isn't it?
like 19 trillion. 9 trillion. Sorry.
Is there an argument to be made that it's like, I'm not saying this is, I'm not saying I don't agree with this, but like people might say like, why would like on paper China's it's like a communist country. It's like they regulate everything. They hold the power. They dictate how the economy works. They dictate how companies get grants, which don't. They sort of control their country in a way that I would argue is like probably more sensible. But an argument could be like, well, if Amazon, if Jeff Bezos is like going to destroy the world, why would China not do that? They have a massive bank account, and they have, who's to say, they'll do, like, governments will do the morally correct thing, big business will do the morally evil thing.
Yeah, and also like the difference between like our sort of monopolies or American monopolies and Australian monopolies compared to like Chinese monopolies are that, first of all, ours are like not under anyone's control. They're supposed to be free, which means we can't control what these overlords are going to do in a few years. And this can get extremely serious. Like,
But who's to say China's better?
Well, China is not better. I'm not saying that they are, but the state has control over it.
But is that a better thing? Probably.
I
because they're
definitely
directing
think
it.
so. 100%.
No one's directing a monopoly.
Because the right wingers, like,
No, someone's directing a monopoly. What do you mean? There's like CEOs, there's fucking investors.
Yeah, to a degree, that's right. Like, yeah, there's definitely people that are directing it, but they're not directing it in a way that is beneficial to anyone other than the CEO.
I guess.
and also they break up
That's
their
the difference.
they
That's
break
the
up their
difference.
monopolies too. They did that recently with Alibaba, the Chinese.
Kebab shop. Eh?
The kebab shop. They were getting too much money from those lame kebabs.
No, look, that is the real argument. The real crux of that is the reality probably is like, okay, what's a company's, by definition, be all and end all goal? Profit. What's China's be and end all and end all goal?
But the
profit, but also
Mr.
the people probably,
This
right?
this isn't what scares me is that theirs isn't profit.
Hey?
Facebook, I mean, profit in the long run, but at the moment, this is the scary bit. This is why, like, I kind of don't agree with what Jordan is saying, that these guys seem to be nice, and eventually it'll be better than, like, having Exxon.
Do you think it'll just be Blade Runner?
Because they're currently not even fighting for profits. They're fighting for something
Control.
even more intense.
Yeah.
Which is what I said. Data and
That's
attention.
what China's doing, dude.
Well, everyone is doing it, but these individual companies will have more data than entire countries.
Yes.
And-
yes, that is troubling.
Our entire sort of frame of mind, because of the Second World War, is like trained to like look at, oh fuck, our government isn't supposed to have all of this because eventually there'll be a Hitler, and then we'll all be in gas chambers, whatever. But these companies are capable of much worse because they don't even have the public representation
That's
checks
true.
on them.
That's true. That's
so
true.
let alone a Hitler coming in, these guys will eventually become Hitler because their interest will take them to that position where they will
They don't have an army.
Well, look, even in the world that we're living in today, armies are for sale. The U.S. fights its wars in Afghanistan and Iraq with privatized armies. So, and
this is
this
with the
isn't
old
a new
guard as
thing.
well.
Paid mercenaries have been there for ages. Like, getting an army is not that
Damn,
much
Tucker
of a problem.
Carlson, man. You're right, though. You're right.
Anyway, what I'm saying is like this is actually a very, very genuine issue. Things like, okay, like I think this comes from the guy who wrote *Sapiens*. He was talking about like how even the e-books that we read are going to be so catered to your preferences because it's going to be able to, like, with facial recognition, which is on my phone already, it's going to be able to analyze how you express with certain words or certain lines that you're reading, that it can cater the algorithm to a way where it starts at giving suggestions of books that you would really, really be into.
I know.
And
it's
this
scary.
is like, at the moment, like, this is still where, like, oh, this is going to be good for, like, consumer satisfaction.
But it's
Eventually, they'll tell you what to read.
Exactly, and you will read it.
And you will read
because
it. You wouldn't even know that it's someone else telling you to
And
read
then
it.
everyone
Well,
will
that's already happening,
With YouTube algorithms is already
and this is why
happening.
this is why politics is splintering off into these like these like microcosm extreme perspectives because people just get fed what they want to hear and then they just go down that rabbit hole. Yes, society's like some people are like society's intrinsically racist. Everyone wants to kill me, and then there's other people being like, America's too regulated. Like, there shouldn't be a government. But the media and the technology facilitates, it feeds the ego because it's just like, you'll like this. And you inherently read that. I mean, it's just like the way there's no like variety of media anymore. There's no variety of information because there's infinite information. So it's like, I'm not going to watch Channel 7 News. Not that that's a good example, but I don't watch that anymore. So it's like, where do I get my news? It's like, it's going to be It's going to be bad.
It's going to be if you think this
getting bad
propaganda
now.
model
It's
is
getting
bad,
bad now.
wait till this shit.
I
Because
still think it's what Labor should do in the next election.
What?
Because I know for a fact that Facebook and Google are intensely lobbying federal parliament at the moment to pass all of these laws that allow them to essentially steal press content for free, right? And all Murdoch's goons are in there saying you need to sign the exact opposite of that. And I know that the Liberals are caught between a rock and a hard place because they're just like, but this company wants this and an even bigger company wants this. And so they don't know what to do.
So wait
they're splintered at the moment. And
you gotta just
they rely on Murdoch at the moment, but they also know that if Google wanted to screw over Australia's next election, they could. If I was Anthony Albanese, I'd just be like, mate, you want to get all that passed? Here's what you do. Every time you search in Australia, just have a shot of me sculling a MIDI. I'll win the next election. You'll get whatever you want.
He's not wrong.
That's what you do.
But are you saying that Google and these companies are pushing governments around the world to push for governments to get in power? Is their ambition to get governments in power that want to move away from coal and oil and gas and fracking and stuff and move towards renewables? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think they're just in alignment, the interests. I think that if it came down to it, if there was...
What do you mean?
If the Liberal Party said, we're going to legislate in your favour, they wouldn't give a shit about the climate change ramifications of that. I don't think that they care about that.
But are you sort of spinning this in a positive way? Let's forget about, they're paying people off. Like, unless I would assume that if you're on this pod now, you understand that like everything is like, privatized, closed doors. This idea of like free press and free elections is just complete bullshit anyway. So like, let's move on from that. So forget about all that shit.
also,
But, like,
none of it is
Let's
also
brush that
free.
whole democracy.
Let's just brush like quote unquote
It's true.
democracy aside. But apart from that, let's forget about the morality of Google paying Labor to. But are you spinning it in a positive way of being like?
Yeah, he's saying that the interests align and we should make use of it. I don't
that's what I'm
necessarily
saying.
disagree with you, but I just think that's an extremely short-term strategy. Because you think you're gonna give sort of like food to this beast, and this beast is gonna look after you.
Yeah,
this beast will eventually turn on you at some point, and then you're gonna hate the fact that you built it.
But I just think it's inevitable.
Maybe it is.
I definitely don't think it's inevitable.
The question
it is
is-
going that
this is the
direction.
question.
We can
We
do
don't have that.
things to change.
This is
We
the
don't have that
question.
in our constitution, Ali.
What?
If Facebook wanted to dominate us, they could.
No, they absolutely cannot, and we definitely have it in our constitution.
No,
to be able
we
to
don't.
break up companies. What do you mean we don't have it in our constitution? We are able to do things like that. We have to
No,
operate.
I don't think we
Well,
are.
If,
I think
if nothing,
I
we
think
can
there was a
literally
referendum.
legislate
I
saying
think there was
that
a referendum, like in the early part of Federation, that was trying to include that into the Constitution. But I don't think that we actually have that there.
Yeah, but this is easy to overcome. Even if we don't have the laws at the moment, we can legislate very easily to circumvent. I don't know what about this referendum that you're talking about, but even if there is, we can circumvent around it. This is not, and also it is extremely important for us to be able to do it. What are you talking about? You're saying that these companies are going to completely take the entire country at hostage,
Yes.
and we can't do anything about it because
Yes.
no, that's not true. Well, I mean,
That's
they potentially
historically
could,
what's
but
always happened.
no, it hasn't. That's what I'm saying. Historically, this was not.
That was a
dirty word
bump
to
in the
say.
road, Ali. Just get on with the ride.
Monopolistic economies was always looked down upon. Every time since the beginning of capitalism.
I think it's still looked down upon now. I just think that they've won the war.
Recently, this guy, one of our fans.
You know
Sorry,
what? You just need to understand, Ali. You're not a person anymore. You're just a farm animal. You need to think about it in a different
say
context.
that.
yeah, I could, but
I'm with Ali on this.
I recently got
I'm
a
with him.
message from this Instagram fan of
What?
ours. I can't remember his name, but he's at one of his economics class at I think Sydney Uni or something, and he sent me a picture of his sort of like lecture slides, and the lecture slides was literally arguing how monopolistic economies are not necessarily that bad. These people are literally being paid. These
Conditioned, yeah.
they're up for sale.
Yeah.
All academics are so easily bought.
Yeah.
You can literally tell them, okay, we'll give you $300,000 if you
Everyone's
do a
easily-
study
who
on
isn't
why
easily
monopolistic economics is not necessarily that bad. And then
It's
once
not even about that. It's just appointing people into positions that hire the other academics, and then after that, everyone falls into line.
It's a cabal again.
Because
who isn't
also
bought?
it's the same sort of paradigm as the
Friendlyjordies,
Yeah.
subscribe.
it follows the same media propaganda model, which is that if you don't have the right opinion, then you will never get a job.
Yeah.
And so that's how it works. And then you can always find enough academics to research anything that you want them to and come up with a favorable
conclusion.
Anyways, the point is Sydney Uni is now teaching how monopolistic economics is not necessarily that bad.
I'm not surprised by that at all. Jordan was saying that like years ago when he was like talking to people about economics. And they were like, "This is how economics works. Here's the crux. Like, here's this hard science, the free market, and buy high, sell low. Yeah, or the opposite of that."
That's pretty much it.
That's the
That
course.
really was what
That's the
economics
fucking
students
course.
were. I remember that as doing international politics, and everything that you learn is pretty much just about how companies are just buying governments and that the environment is on the tipping point, prefaces of just there's no going back. And then you just go into economics courses and then they're just saying that like everything is just fine as it is. Vote Liberal. That's pretty much it. Those are the economists of the future.
The economists today are literally, their entire job is to rationalize the interests of the ruling elite. Yeah, that is literally their job description.
The status quo.
Dude.
They are.
Holy shit, I'm sick of all these celebrities getting outed on Twitter for saying something anti-Black Lives Matter. That's the real controversial statement right there.
Dig a bit deeper and look at the mass corruption when it comes to it's like even I'm woke at this I'm an ex-libertarian and like literally you look at it now and it's just like think tanks run the world. Just you take money from a giant corporation, give it a name like the Chicken Schnitzel Fund, and like they just indirectly just siphon the same rhetoric that company wants, the laws that they want to sort of enact to make law, and then they sort of do.
Why a monopoly on the pheasant industry is a clucking good idea.
I don't know. It's
But
like
I think-
it's scary. This shit's scaring me now. I can't, dude. I swear to God, I have like. I don't want this motherfucker to die. You know, like I just keep imagining the old pew in like, you know, like blood sprayed out in Jordan's fish tank. And I'm just like, oh no, I guess it's up to me. Just, they're both pretty good, the parties. Just, you make your own mind up. Bye. Like, I don't know. It's just, like, dude, like.
Run off sobbing.
Like, yeah. That's what would happen. That's what would happen. Like, I don't know. It's.
But here's the silver
No,
lining.
if my head blew up in front of you, say that some assassin went in here and shot me in the head, I know exactly what you'd say. Fuck, dude. Did you see that?
I'm on a lot of.
That's pretty intense.
I'm on a lot of mushrooms right now, dude. Is that real? It better not have been real.
I feel like I'm taking acid.
What's the silver lining?
You're gonna think it's a silver lining, but it's actually not. What's actually inevitable is actually their collapse. Let me tell you why. Because I
No, they
understand
have to because they're just
capitalism.
going to die out. There's going to be no buyer's market.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's going to kill aggregate demand. So because this is not again a new thing. It's
Never
like
thought of that.
Nobody's gonna have
capitalism
any more
eats
money.
itself. Like our job is entirely
No, but you know what it will
to
do?
like
It'll-
make sure that
no.
capitalism doesn't kill itself.
Ali, it will transform into its final stage,
Which is what?
feudalism.
And what's that?
That's pretty much all that'll happen. Is just
What's that?
Jeff Bezos at some point will go to England, dig up King Henry VIII's grave, and put on that fat man suit and just eat heaps of turkey until he's able to fit it out, and then he'll just sit there getting portraits painted of
That
himself.
is inevitable.
That's inevitable.
Spoken.
Yeah, but what about the other 7 billion or whatever people?
Who gives a shit? Listen,
What do you mean?
dude, he's convinced me. That image is good. I change everything.
Do you know what the crux of the argument is? And this is what it really is.
What?
Do we want to live in Blade Runner or iRobot? Corporate
They're
interest?
pretty much the same thing. It's just
they're
iRobot's
not.
a dumb version of it.
No, but iRobot has like clean skies.
Yeah.
That is a good point. I would rather live in a.
I'd way rather live in iRobot where
Have
like
that German Shepherd that I will not kill. I promise.
yeah. No, that's a different movie. That's
I am
something
Legion.
else.
Oh,
I something else. Yeah.
talking
iCarly, the movie.
So
Are you talking about like that Will Smith one?
Yeah, he's made like 10 movies that are like, I need more money for coke. You know, like, but I would much rather live in iRobot than Blade Runner.
Oh,
I would much
100%,
rather.
yeah.
I'd much rather Jordan's point of Facebook and Google owning the world than like McDonald's and Rio Tinto and BHP.
That's true, but allow me to sweeten the Blade Runner alternative for you, Miss Love.
Synths.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Like, if everywhere you walked,
It is
there was
hard.
just huge speakers floating in the air with reanimating Vangelis's corpse to sit there as a skeleton just on top of an old 80s Casio keyboard. Every time you take a step.
Well, look, I mean, like, don't make me choose. Just don't make me choose. That's hard.
I'm choosing Blade Runner if that's the case.
Yeah,
just give us that, Bezos. We're even.
And one of the other factors that like no one really even knows or is realizing at this point, besides a very few academics, is that we haven't even talked about like how there's going to be a population collapse as well. Which is going to kill demand again.
How's that? How is there going to be a population?
Going to peter out at about 9 billion. That's the estimate.
Yeah, and because like most people think this is actually literally my next video, which is coming out in 2 days. Holsworthy Live, check it out. But like most people assume that we're getting overpopulated. This is unsustainable. Climate change is just one of the indicators of this.
Yeah.
All of this is an outdated view of the world. What we now can be very certain of is that we're headed towards a population collapse.
How's that?
Yeah. So you know how
And that's why Facebook needs to take over so they can build the robots to care for us.
that's also
Way too meta.
No, but that's also like a very, very, very good point because you're gonna need these technologies. Because anyway, so I'll tell you.
For my own spinach plant, Charlie.
Yeah, you could, but like not everyone will. So
Sucks to them.
everyone doesn't want to live in a swamp in Louisiana.
Let them die.
They will eventually. But,
All right. Go on, because this is.
well, I don't want. Well, I sort of go into my video, but like the thing is like, look, when you look at the population of the world, it's crazy the rise, right? And like literally 3 billion until 60s, and then.
Yeah.
The boomers,
Yeah.
it became 6 billion.
Yeah.
So it just keeps going up.
Yeah.
But what also you don't know is like the birth rate graph is going down. And that's
Only
because
the
of
West, dude.
everywhere in the world. The only place that
globally.
it's not
Really?
is Africa. And early indicators are showing that even in Africa, so places like Kenya, the birth rate has declined dramatically. And there's one reason for it, urbanization. So it's just a prolonged effect of industrial revolution. The third world just like sort of is catching up late. That's why it's happening later over there. But everywhere in the world, the birth rate is going down.
Because it's not affordable to have kids, basically, right?
It's not but you don't need kids because people back in the day needed kids.
Yeah, it used to be
like work. The feudal system meant that the bigger your family is, the more well off you will be.
Yeah.
In urban life, it's actually the opposite.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's what's leading it, and it's just these trends are take a bit of time. But now you can see like places like the Western world, which were it's literally like COVID. It's the same sort of graph.
I get it.
If it's above 1, it's going to rise rapidly, and if it goes below, you don't even realize it's going to go down pretty quickly too. Which is all kind of already is happening in Australia. That's why like the boomers are a lot more than us.
Yeah.
Anyway, so that's that in itself is going to lead to like this incredibly reduced aggregate demand, which is why Jordan, you might think is joking, but he's actually right. That's why we need certain tech institutions to be able to build those robots that will be able to sustain us.
And we will maintain those robots.
Yeah, your duty remains clear.
But what I'm saying is that who has control? My entire argument isn't that there shouldn't be robots. It's who controls those robots.
Yeah, and it should be the state.
Because like because of sci-fi, our entire idea is that it's either controlled by us or it's controlled by the robots themselves.
Yeah.
The AI is going to take over.
But that's the next inevitable step.
That's what old mate
That's
says.
what I personally don't agree with. I might be wrong because these are obviously like.
No, but everybody thinks that that's 10 years away. I'm saying it's
I don't think it's what I know is like literally 10 to 20 years away is that all of that power that you can think of that the robot will do is not necessarily done by the robot, but the fucking people
By
that
Mark
own the
Zuckerberg,
technology.
who
that
is a
control the
robot, so it will.
Who is already a robot.
Yeah.
Hey, should we move on to like any?
All right,
other
that's the
segments?
conclusion. Mark Zuckerberg's a robot. You heard it.
Well, we all
first.
knew that, but I mean...
Give us some subscriptions for that. We got
wait
to
a
the
sec,
bottom
Wait a
of
sec.
it.
We can't stop right there. I just need to know, like, if the...
No.
Just 1 sec.
Time for 11-step money
No,
plan.
wait.
Real knowledge.
No, wait. If just real quickly. So if the population is going to dive, are we screwed or like we can?
No,
Well,
I
we
think
would
it's
have
all
to
a lie
readjust.
anyway.
Really?
It's just one generation isn't going to be able to live in like an Impala Homes nursing retirement centre. That's pretty much oh my God, what a nightmare apocalypse.
It could be
It's just
an
going to have to be.
apocalypse.
You're just going to have to live like
this is what I
most
wanna know.
Indian families.
No, this is what I want to know. Just
Wait, what does that mean? Just
It just means that you're going to have to look after your grandparents. Oh no.
No, wait a sec. This is what I want to know.
oh yeah, that's gonna happen
This is
too.
what,
But
this is what I
yeah,
wanna-
that's
this is what I want to know real quick, just really quickly. Don't go super into it, but like you're a pretty, clever fellow, Chiku. What's your like utopian? What is the best case scenario? Let's just say, okay, the population's in a tank. Let's say all the big tech companies are broken up. Somehow we all have the smarts to break them up. Then they start to get regulated. Some become government owned. All's fine and dandy. And somehow the environment gets cleaned up too. When did that happen? Oh, it must have been between Play School and whatever fucking shows on after Play School. That's all happened.
that's a sick life.
So what happens? So
it's gonna be like.
So what happens
It's
now?
gonna be like Jetsons.
I just need someone. to
That's
look
the one
forward
because
to.
we eventually would have to not
Sick.
rely on large populations as because like the system that
That's
we
what they were
live in-
alluding to in the Jetsons, that everybody lived in these bubbles
Probably.
above the Earth. So even then, it is pretty much Blade Runner.
Pretty much,
It's just the
but funnier.
robot is sassy instead of trying to kill you.
Yeah.
Basically,
So is
you
that-
just
is that
wouldn't
what's
need
gonna
to
happen?
work that much. Like other people would be working for you. They'll be producing the wealth, but our like entire system is not going to be based on us consuming that. You know what
So
I mean?
that's
like
dope.
right
That could be
now,
dope.
Jeff Bezos is able to accumulate that much of money because
People
people
are
like
buying.
us are willing to buy
Yeah.
things. Eventually, will then be less people. Our system cannot rely on consumer demand, which
Yeah.
means it'll be the end of capitalism, essentially.
Yeah.
So the end of capitalism
Monopolies are
sounds
the
good
end.
and dandy, but it could be pretty chaotic, at least for the time being. Look, eventually, in the long run, the world adapts. It's going to be able to structure itself unless it's the end of civilization, like for the dinosaurs, which I don't think is soon.
I
where-
do.
Why?
Why? Because of climate change?
Well, one of the reasons.
What else?
Also, there's a little thing that nobody seems to mention, which is that the oceans are dying.
Dude.
And there's massive global deforestation.
Yeah.
And we're getting less and less arable land.
Look, in
not-
the
I'm not-
long
yeah, I
run,
don't like
there'll
the
be
whole
like a
ocean
lot of
dying.
people dead because of it. There'll be starvation. There'll be
But it's not gonna be us.
migrations.
Jesus.
There's gonna be
it.
a war.
Nice.
The whole point is,
Wait,
I don't
dude.
know any of the people that are going to die. Maybe Ali's driver, and he'll be like, huh.
Dude, I think he's dead.
We shouldn't laugh.
I think he's dead.
Damn it, Jordan! Just as soon as he was painting a really utopic Jetsons picture, you
Well,
had to
I'll
get in
give
there.
you something utopic.
Well, that's one
I've been
scenario,
looking further
but-
into it, Ali. I'll just finish on this, but
Yeah.
I've been repeating this point ad nauseum, but I've been looking into it a lot more. There is enough money in superannuation. Thank you very much, St. Keating, for doing this.
Shout out Future Super.
Shout out Future Super. Bank Australia switched to both of them.
Switch already.
But
Switch.
they could do what you're proposing, Ali. It is actually in your hands. It is not in the government's hands. It's not about convincing Scott Morrison about this, where you'd be like, fuck you on about. This isn't about the sharks. Arrest him. Like this. There is $2 trillion in superannuation. And you only need a fraction of that to buy the ASX 200.
What's the ASX?
The most profitable companies in Australia, the top 200 most profitable companies in Australia would cost a fraction of what is in superannuation.
Wow.
And so if we started being more conscious of our superannuation and we just started putting it into future accounts, super accounts like Future Super instead of just like, the retail one because I worked at Kmart.
Yeah, Host Plus. It helps for hospitality people. Does it actually though?
Not at
Nah,
all,
but there's
yeah.
a picture of a guy making coffee on the thing that I filled out.
That's the only
Just
thing we
like
can
me.
do now.
Huh?
That's literally the only thing we can do at this point.
That is the only thing you can do, but there is a lot of hope
People saying
in
they're
that.
doing
If
it?
people started getting more educated, huh?
Are people saying
He's
they're
so
doing
nervous.
it?
He's like, "Oh, people, are they doing it?"
Ask them if they're fucking changing.
Just ask them. They're on the camera.
Are you changing? It takes 4 minutes. It
What's the
takes
answer?
less time than for you to wank.
Everyone's response is going to be, I don't have any.
Someone's saying Amazon is more than the entire ASX. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's America's
internationally.
problem. They could probably do it if they put all their 401ks together.
Jordan, everyone
But
has supers.
Well, you change.
You
You
have to have
change
a
the world, Miss Love.
How many?
One guy is saying, "I'm on it now."
I'll take that.
that's a
What's his
start.
name? What's his name? Shout him out.
Holy fuck! Sorry, I missed it. Changing Punkstub.
Punker Stub. You're not a punk.
Can you
in
like
my-
give yourself an
Well,
easier
thanks for
to
giving us
pronounce
dead air
name?
punker stuff.
Yeah.
That was a long 30 seconds of.
Anyway, basically, do it.
All right, Ali's
and
chucking a miss, love. Staring at the street.
good-
Well, no, it's just because like you guys distracted me.
We don't really stand a chance, do we?
It's a good dude, come on, that is a massive point. That is empowering, because this whole it is kind of like the old world idea of like, what you've got to do is write to your local congressman on pen and paper and tell him.
No, but that doesn't
No,
work.
but what he's
That's
saying
what
is going to be
I'm
more
saying.
effective.
Way more effective.
Because like then the politicians
Honestly,
are not
taking
going to get
control
money.
of your super solves every problem.
dude,
Paul Keating is a visionary. How good is he's the real 4D chess player.
Yeah,
I'm agreeing with you. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that that old world of I'm going to write to blah 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 is bullshit. I'm going to complain to Scott Morrison. It's dead. It's dead. It's done.
It doesn't work.
Put your money into
Stop
something.
protesting. It
money
doesn't work.
Money talks. And if you can, I didn't know that could be done with super money. And if that's the case, how much would that be the ultimate fuck you if through Australia's super contributions they could buy out companies that they could challenge companies that buy out the libs. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a roundabout way of doing it. So everybody's always saying that you need to stand
Right.
up, come together, and vote out a government like the Liberal Party that is sympathetic
Doesn't work.
towards
But in this
businesses,
sort of-
right? No, what you do is you become the bosses of the business, so
Play
you
the
actually
game.
do force the Liberal Party to work for you.
Play the game.
That's how
But
you
once
do it.
you
You have to
become
play
a
the game.
boss, I wonder if you're going to do what you're asking them to do. Listen, because like, dude, your interest
But it's like
change.
your point
once
that
you're
you're
in a
always saying
corporation,
that
you have
you need to get shares in these companies. That's how you do it. That is there is the path.
Yeah, but
there.
at this point, like,
And it's
this
the way
may
that
be
you
even
organize it.
doable at the moment because soon this was, you know how we talk about like how the bottom 90% has less wealth than the top 10%. Blah.
Yeah.
That means the bottom 90%, if we're talking about literally money and making money talk, the bottom 90% has less influence than the top 10%.
Yeah, which means that you only need about 2% of the population to decide that's it. We're buying every company.
Which also means you have a very small window because this inequality is growing.
Smaller and smaller.
So eventually, the bottom 99%
Right.
will have the same amount of power as the top 1%, which you could argue is still the case. But if you do what Jordan is saying, as in divert your money into things that you find
Well,
better
if it's
than
just 1%,
at
you
least
only
for the
need
time being, it'll
2%.
work.
You just halve the amount of people that need to do it. The point is that at some point, there's going to be an extremely wealthy class and then Jeff Bezos. But if this extremely wealthy class gets together and forms the thing that they have spent the last 100 years doing, which is destroying a union, they could fuck Jeff Bezos over.
It's pretty cool.
Damn, if we've got Sky News on our side, Sky is the limit.
Actually, that could happen. I don't think, dude. Trump and
I've got more
Fox-
hope from them than, like, to
Trump-
be honest, these
the one
like,
thing that, like,
socially liberal ones.
The one thing that I mean, dude, breaking up the banks is a conservative perspective.
Yeah.
So like,
Well,
and Tucker Carlson is into it. Like Sky News is into it. Fox News is into it. Like these, you might look, sure, they're terrible with the environment and they're terrible with unions and they're terrible with wages and they're terrible with healthcare. Kind of terrible with everything. But then like that, the thing that could like change, that like profoundly change the world, almost in the most dramatic way, they're on board with.
They're on board
They're
with
on
it
board with it.
because all these tech companies don't support them. That's why they're on board with
cares?
it at the moment.
Fine. But
And
they're on board.
eventually they're going to be on the right side of history.
That's what I'm
Because
saying,
the more
dude.
the economy
That's
moves
crazy.
towards this end, when we deal with issues like climate change. Look, like I get how climate change is a big issue now, but there are literally countries as we speak that are almost completely carbon neutral. So what I'm saying, it's a template that will eventually be
my point.
replicated by most people.
Yeah, but the
And
clock is ticking.
the clock, I understand that, but like the
These are all positive
The gravity of the situation that you're talking about, where the clock is ticking, is not the end of the world. What it is a very shit
Monopoly.
world for a lot of people.
But
That's the repercussions of climate change. Like literally, okay, places like the U.S. and Canada,
They're fine,
are going to
yeah.
be all right.
Yeah.
Places like Australia, if we
Not so
fix our
much.
water, we're going to be fine too. Basically, the
Yeah, if you
the
exclude the
poorest
fact that
people
like
are going to
90%
be
of it will
fucked
be
over.
uninhabitable.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Well, 90%.
But boys,
Might not.
these are all positive things. We're basically saying if like we can get like the conservative media on the side of people being like we want to break up these monopolies any which way and how, it can be very probably done.
But they do it for like very sadistic reasons sometimes, because that's what Hitler did. You know how I was saying that back in the day, Germany didn't care about monopolies and led to a revolution? I was talking about Hitler's revolution.
So there was.
So he came into power on the basis of providing things for the German public and eventually led them to Second World War.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but Ali, you have to point this out. His economics were on point.
his economics
Which got
were,
dark.
but that's why like that's why like dude, I feel so scared of like anything to say
Why
now.
are you scared about it?
Because like that's actually his initial bit of economics was the reason why he was able to like do so much damage in the first
Yeah,
place.
but dude, okay, here's
because like
my-
Germany was pretty
he
dead
got it
after
done.
the First
He
World
sorted
War.
it
Yeah,
out.
but here's my point, dude. Those things don't necessarily correlate. Just because Hitler broke up big monopolies, like, dude.
Doesn't mean it's a bad thing.
No, what I'm saying.
He didn't necessarily break them up. He initially nationalized them actually.
Okay, well, whatever.
First actually did. Yeah.
All I'm saying is that, like, just because there's a correlation of, like, we're breaking up these monopolies or we're nationalizing them, okay, that's weird because they're, like, polar opposite. No, they're not polar opposite things, but that's
better.
a similar thing.
It's better. Yeah, it's
a
similar.
more intense thing. It's a more intense version of that. But I don't think, what's his name? Who's the guy who's like, I'm Superman on Fox? What's his name? Sean Hannity.
Sean Hannity.
I don't think Sean Hannity is going to, like, put on the, like, Stalin jacket and be like, let's go get Wendy's. Like, there's not a correlation there. Like, that's a stupid argument.
No, if his sponsor paid him to do it, he'd do it in a heartbeat.
No,
He changes his opinion all the time.
does he?
Yeah, dude, he went from like hating Trump to like loving him in 2 days. He had one
Okay,
meeting
all
with
right.
the
Well, maybe
guy.
that's a bad
Yeah.
example. Tucker wouldn't do that.
You can't.
No,
cut the
Tucker would be more clever about it, but he would be moving towards that goal. Because think about Tucker's whole shtick. Tucker's whole shtick is Google is evil, and
Yeah.
Trump said Google's evil. You got no choice here.
Dude, that's why like some of Trump's like Trump's like entire thing about Twitter and all of these like tech companies is
Yeah.
actually not that bad. The only thing that I don't
not.
like about him is that he uses it as personal vendetta as opposed to like a policy that needs
Yeah.
to like when
No,
he-
that's way more boss. I love that.
yeah, but
How good is that? Google was very mean to me. Let's do something about this.
maybe if it's effective.
I don't know. I was really depressed before, and now I'm sort of like, yeah, come on, boys, pull your socks up. Let's get him, she.
But that's all history is, just a long sequence of great opportunities missed. Pretty much.
And some great opportunities taken that we sometimes forget. Do you want to do your
Yeah.
do you want to do your segment?
Which one?
Growing up future
Well,
super.
Infinite
The rates
Universe
are
one?
good.
All right. If anyone's watching that knows anything about infinite universes, I'm sorry. I know this is the most dumb YouTuber conversation that you could have, but who else is more qualified to have that conversation, right? Look,
Has anyone
No one.
studied science in the production team?
What?
Physics? Nah, nope.
Chemistry? It's like maths.
But wait, are you? Well, some of our audience, dude. If you've studied physics, so what is your question about it, anyways?
look, I just need to know, is that stoner conversation that you have when you're like 19 correct? If there's infinite universes, is there a universe where everything is exactly the same, but Elvis is one of my ass cheeks, just his face going, and the other one's just Pharrell? Is that happening somewhere? And Pharrell is just won't
hope
shut up
so.
right now, just being like, I'm not stopping interrupting until someone gives me my hat. Is that happening?
I never understood this whole like.
Is that happen? So you have to tell me, how absurd does this get? If there is infinite universes, is that happening right now?
I mean,
People, I don't know if they're like studied physics, but they're saying we need to find this universe.
Yes,
we do.
Friendly
Not
arsies.
infinite, but there is.
No, but there would be a separate universe where it's still just Friendlyjordies and one where it is Friendly Arsie.
and
Oh wait,
also-
hold up. We've got one Brendovich. He has a regular name, so I'm guessing he's
I think that's
He
a
means
Croat.
business.
saying
That's a
yes,
Croat
it's
name.
biologically possible. Can you
Wow.
elaborate on that, Brendovich?
Yeah, how is it biologically possible?
I don't know. Okay, so
sentient ass cheeks that look, no, not just look, are. They are Elvis and they are Pharrell and they exist at the same time and they're just as famous as they are in this world.
I'm gonna go on the wing and say that is not possible,
Dude,
I haven't studied physics since like year
It's biologically
12, but-
possible, he's saying it.
Dude, you know what would
Yeah,
weak
you see,
me
I
out?
don't know what that biologically
You know what would
term
weak me out
means.
way more than that? If
What?
there was an alternative universe where grilled was more fairly priced. I'd be like, fairly priced burgers.
I think like okay, so this is like my understanding of the
Let
universe.
the man talk. How many times are you going to say burgers? Go on.
This is my understanding of the universe, and I know that's not the answer you're looking for, which is why I think it's not possible.
Why?
Like, the reason why we think that there is more to it than our universe is because our universe is the only thing we can see, because it's the only... Because, you know, like, the universe is, like, what, expanding at a fast rate,
Yeah, it
right? So, we always... Like, I learned in physics that light is the fastest thing. But apparently it's not. So our universe is whatever we're able to see. But what is beyond our universe is actually moving at a much faster pace that we can't see it.
Yeah, and that's when you move into dimensions.
Yeah.
That's when you move into, but that doesn't mean that there'll be a version of us there.
Why?
It could be, but
If there's infinite universes in the... Because that's the 10th dimension, right?
That's a 6th dimension.
I
That's the Trump.
So that's the whole thing, right? Trump is able to manipulate this dimension so much by being in the 4th. Can you imagine what the fuck is going on in the 10th?
Oh yeah, someone actually just mentioned that. What does that
So
mean?
the 10th dimension
What is the
is
10th
just
dimension?
every possible universe, not even possible, just every universe, just infinitely happening at once, and you can move in and out of them, and you can go to any point in time in any of these universes. That's the 10th dimension. So if that is the case, there must be way weirder things happening than my ass cheeks being celebrities. There has to be.
Are they conscious of us?
Huh?
Are they conscious of us?
Yeah, well, look, I don't know who they is. I don't know if anyone's conceptually looking over the 10th dimension. But Jesus, how fucking woke is God if he is? Holy
Yeah.
supposed to be the creator of the earth, that we thought, no, he's probably the creator of the universe, but no, he's the creator of every universe there is, and it's infinite.
Yeah. It is like pretty crazy. I was reading this one weird thing, which, you know, it makes you wonder, is there a God? You know, like how every matter that there is, every element, when it experiences a temperature drop, it expands, or like it contracts, one of the two. Anyways, water is the only one that doesn't do it and does the opposite. And that's the reason why in winter, when the surface of the water freezes, the fish are actually trapped down and they're able to swim and survive. Because if water behaved like H2O, the compound, if it behaved like any other element, literally anything else, apparently the fish would just rise up and die.
Holy shit! That
How
is
crazy
But
is
that's
that?
the existing in our universe.
That's insane. That is
So-
insane.
Are you saying there's other
There's
universes where the
probably
fish
another
are just
universe.
floating on top dead?
Give me an
Yeah, there's
example.
probably a universe where they all just floated off dead. So the first winter that happened, that was all fish gone.
So with every other chemical,
There is another one where they just get resurrected every winter. Huh?
That would be
Like
cool.
metals, like iron, or
It just transforms and that's it. It completely.
yeah. I can't remember if it was like contracting or expanding, but what I know is like water is the only one that does it differently to all of the other ones, and that is the reason for like life existing.
I'm sorry.
That's
but like,
true, but that's... I hate this point where they say, like, life can only exist if there's these elements, hydrogen, carbon, etc. I don't know how it finishes
Real
because I can't
burgers.
go out.
Yeah.
And there's like, just show us pictures of the sun exploding. But,
Yeah, I like them too.
yeah, look, that's assuming life is what it is in this universe, or as what we have seen.
Here we
So
go.
there must be other forms of life. And this is the other thing
No,
that you
but
don't
there
understand.
has to
We're
be.
only seeing life in the 3rd dimension.
right.
Yeah.
So there's 7 other dimensions,
I
or
don't-
something like that we can perceive so far, and we can't see what the fuck's going on in
What's
those
the
dimensions.
What are the dimensions? I
Well, I
really
can't
don't get
look.
it.
I don't have time to
man.
go
This
through.
is
this.
But you know what, like what Neil deGrasse Tyson said about like
What?
aliens existing?
Yeah.
He was saying that, which makes a lot of sense. He was saying that we are made of carbon, human beings. We're made of carbon. It is the most abundant element in the universe. He was saying if you're trying to argue that
We're
we're
mainly
the
made of carbon.
yeah, apparently.
All right.
I don't get science, but
Yeah,
like that's what he was
it's-
saying.
yeah, okay.
So we're made of carbon. He was saying that if you were to make an argument that we're the only life in the universe, we should have been made of some rare isotope. But we are literally made of something which is extremely abundant.
That's a really cool point.
So if
it's
you
like-
were to ask me if there is life,
Yes.
just based on that, I would say yes.
Yeah.
There has to be.
Yeah.
And then Michio Kaku, who's another physicist, he said something about like why aliens don't interact with us. He was saying that aliens don't interact with us the same way we don't interact with goldfish that are swimming in like a little bowl. It doesn't matter.
Do interact with them
He interacts with them
all the time.
What do you mean you interact
That's my
with
entire
aliens?
life.
his whole life.
Fuck off.
I just look at the fish in my fish tank every day.
They're not
It's like,
aliens.
I wonder if they're
No,
going
but-
to work.
But that argument is like void because a lot of his life has just been like, this is
Yeah,
this.
but
That's
apparently-
Jeff. That's Jim. Jim likes to go to the gym.
But apparently, it turns out advanced aliens don't behave like Eastern Suburb housewives like Jordan does.
right. So
Well,
the
maybe they
majority
do.
of people. But dude, by
In
that
some
Because every
universe,
time
they
we have an
must.
earthquake, it's just a giant Eastern Suburbs housewife alien going, hello there.
yeah, by that logic, then like Jordan, because he does pay attention to the fish, would have an alien friend like that shitty Seth Rogen movie where it's like, his name's Bob and he smokes weed. Like Jordan would have
I
a
thought I
friend like
dreamed
that.
that movie.
I think he does
so
have a
glad
friend
it
like that. I think I'm that guy.
Yeah, I don't buy that, the goldfish thing, because Jordan would have alien bros.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were saying he communicates with the aliens all the time.
Maybe.
Does anyone have any answers to this? Is
Yeah,
this
is
where this
that-
is going? This really
Someone
Lazy
someone just like
twitches.
said that water becomes more dense when it freezes. That's why it
Oh,
does
who
that.
No,
cares?
that's
Hey, that was
interesting.
my point.
That's
Okay.
interesting. I'll take that.
Okay.
What, the water freezes?
Yeah.
Miss. So that's how ice cubes are formed.
There's someone saying we need to tax the universe besides ours. We can use that money.
Tax the
Build a wall.
universe. You gotta- wait, you gotta say the names, Ollie. That's
Yes,
a big thing.
you can reduce the corporate tax rate to 1% if you wanted that. We'll still be really rich.
Tax the universe. Make sure you
Pass
pronounce
the
their
law.
names.
Is Jordy's a string theorist?
A
What the fuck is that? I don't know. This is my whole... You're supposed to educate me on this. I don't know anything
like,
about science. I don't
I-
watch those shitty Verasiums.
I remember
YouTube
reading
channels.
about string theory. It was actually really, really cool. I can't remember, but it's also called the theory of everything. Apparently,
Sounds simple.
look, from what I remember,
here we
you can
go.
do some crazy shit that you can time travel and that kind of shit.
Dude, it's fucking. Have you guys? Okay, this is a very like the viewpoint. Ow. But have you seen Interstellar?
That's not a viewpoint.
Well, have you seen it?
That's a where we are right now point. That's so inner west.
Yeah, that is very.
They're saying
But keep
they're
going.
asking.
Have you seen it?
Yes, but the whole time I was sitting there and being like, wow, who'd have thought the guy from Tropic Thunder became a lead actor?
Who are you talking about?
Who are you talking about? Jack Black?
Thunder?
The guy
McConaughey?
in... Yeah,
He's not in-
McConaughey.
Is he in Tropic Thunder?
Yeah.
Oh, I forgot.
Wait, wasn't that Tom Cruise?
It was Tom Cruise, dude. It wasn't
Tom
him.
Cruise was also in it, and yes, they do look very similar. But this is the way to tell the difference between them.
doesn't matter.
One's a midget.
And his teeth are off
It
center.
really, really doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And I think from what I can judge, I think no one that has a science degree is watching our podcast.
I bet
Not a single one. Because one guy cited someone, and his cite was, so on Joe Rogan, there was a legit physicist, and he said what Jordan is saying is definitely possible. And did I say he is a physicist?
Dude, come on. Our audience is
Joe Rogan's
20%.
good enough for me.
20% at least.
What?
Our audience is 20% scientists. There, I said it.
I don't know why they created so much dead air. Maybe it was just because we're all just sitting there just like, no, come 19%. I don't understand what's going on.
Look,
here,
we're
but
coming to the end, really. I
we
mean,
really are coming to the
all-
end.
yeah.
I just really wanted to know if that's possible or not. And apparently, just like all answers in life, you just had to watch a Joe Rogan
I know.
podcast. It's just a 3-hour-long Googling sesh.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
But you know,
That's the whole
sometimes you can actually, like that water theory that I told you about, that's from Joe Rogan.
Okay.
Well, it's from
Thank
Neil deGrasse Tyson, but he was on Joe Rogan.
Dude, Joe Rogan's going to run the world. Joe Rogan
Exactly,
will just be up
yeah.
there just being like, everyone take DMT. And you know what? The world will be dynamite. As
Yeah,
long
but
as we
it's
have a
also-
universal income, we'll be fine.
But it's funny, like when Joe Rogan is like kind of confused when people
He's
are
not-
saying
well,
like
he's
really
not that
How
intelligent-
good is that? Yeah.
What do you mean? That's crazy.
Yeah, he's
'Cause,
not
like,
that
I
smart.
remember
But, yeah,
Lawrence
you're-
Krauss said that, well, some infinities are bigger than other infinities, and Joe Rogan was just like, I don't know what you're saying anymore, and I don't like what you're saying.
Yeah. While he's smoking weed, right?
Yeah, well, he wasn't smoking weed. Dude,
It
Bill
helps
Burr
me
had
think
the best
better,
thing.
dude.
Bill Burr had the fucking best point on Joe Rogan.
What?
He did one recently, and I was watching it, and Joe Rogan was trying to argue why COVID is not that bad, and Bill Burr's like, dude, I'm not gonna listen to someone that's smoking a fucking cigar and has the American flag in the background. Joe, shut up.
He's got a point, man. He's got a point.
And he does have a point.
But at least
But you
Joe
know,
Rogan's
you were
not
saying
malicious.
that data retention is the new oil of the 21st century
I don't
and the
understand.
race is on.
I don't understand that, but yeah.
Google and Amazon can try all they like, but Joe Rogan's sitting there saying, Jamie, Google that chimp getting ripped up by that lion in the circus.
Dude, it's crazy.
He's doing everything. He's retaining all of the data. He's going to get there.
I still don't even get data retention. It's like, wow, we know that Jim from Broken Hill likes Macca's a little bit more than KFC. We're rich. Like, what? How
He
does it
sold
work?
all of his data too, by the way. He sold it to Spotify. He doesn't own shit anymore.
I don't get the data thing, but I'm
Like, as in, like, he sold his he pretty much sold
He
his
sold it to
podcast to Spotify for $100 million.
Why did
You
he
guys
sell
know
I
it?
thought
that?
it'd be worth more than
Yeah, I
that.
thought it'd be
so
worth
I'm not
more
really
too.
that impressed.
I
by
think
that.
they fucked up. I think it's worth $100 billion.
I'm pretty sure he's making $100 million
Yeah.
podcast.
But dude, why did he do that? Because wouldn't it be able to
Dude, it's $100 million. So
what, he's got
and
enough
all
money
they said
without
was that,
it?
yeah,
I wouldn't
you're
have-
just gonna you're gonna move all of your shit to Spotify, and you can keep doing what you want.
But what's the point?
We
He's
did it
already
for
rich.
free for Twitch, literally.
That's what I'm saying. Like, if I was him, I'd be like, I don't need the money, and I have more autonomy here. What do I get out of this?
$100
money.
million.
Well, what the fuck do you do with that? He's already rich. What now? Like, you invest it, and now you're a billionaire. So what? Like, do you think Joe Rogan has like? This is what I'm saying. At a certain point, when you're very rich and you want more money, there's a certain point where you are just a bad, evil person. Because why do you want that money? Probably control. If you have enough for your like 10 lifetimes.
What you also realize when you're in that, I think Jordan would
get
be
what I'm
able to tell perfectly, because the other thing that happens is I remember Kevin Hart actually talking about this. He's like, dude, I fucking hate corporations, and I am a corporation hack is because now I live in an ecosystem where it's not just me. There's so many people that are dependent on me, and when I look at their fucking faces, I feel that they deserve a better life.
That's what it
and
is.
so I end up signing these deals.
Joe Rogan wants to pay people more. Probably he's like, Jamie's on a 200,000 a year. He's worked hard at Googling. I think he's ready for 500,000 a year.
I
That's what
don't
it
think that's what he's thinking about. I just think he's a bad person. He's just being
I don't.
You know what I really want? A bigger ice bath.
He's already got one.
I know.
He doesn't need anything bigger.
I know.
I don't get it. Does that? I just don't get that.
I think that's he has enough ice baths. I think literally it's the entire Joe Rogan machinery now.
It's him and Jamie.
Maybe it's the machinery, or maybe he just wants to hire a crack team of lawyers to force Fear Factor back on TV.
Or maybe $100 million is hard to refuse.
I could.
It's
if I was-
$100 million.
Yeah, but if you're worth $100 million,
I'd say no.
do you really want another 100?
Yeah, I'd say
What
no.
if someone offered me $100 million?
Yeah.
I'd take it.
I'd say no.
No, but you would have.
oh, because you'd invest into NGOs and shit, though, right?
Yeah, 100%. We can use all of that money. What you were talking about, dude. That's my dream. My dream is to make a shitload
I
of
would be
money.
doing it, but
so
yes, but I wouldn't
give
be
it
doing
to
it for-
cunts that
Like Jordan. Jordan,
what he's
drove the
literally,
drove the-
So if I had $100 million, I'd just buy every one of those defunct newspapers that Rupert Murdoch.
Yeah, basically be good Koch brothers. That's what you do with
But
that
Joe
money.
Rogan's not doing that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
my
he's
point.
Exactly. Yeah.
What's he doing?
Dude, he's
Google
buying
that
ice
shit.
baths.
You don't need another 100 million to Google stuff.
I'm going to hire a second Jamie and
Don't
make
need
sure
one.
that he just makes a database of all the psychedelics I haven't tried yet. That's probably what it
But
is.
the best thing about the Bill Burr podcast with Jordan, the first 15 minutes was Bill Burr paying him out for that Spotify deal
Did he?
without explicitly
Did he?
saying. He's
So-
like,
so Bill
dude,
Burr-
I'm just gonna say it. I've met a lot of people. I've met a lot of suckers. Yeah, sure, you're gonna be earning $10,000 right now, but dude, if you give all of your stuff to them, they're gonna be making billions, and you're gonna be making nothing. Joe. He didn't say Joe, I'm talking to you for that Spotify deal, but he literally went on a 10-minute rant of how anyone does something like that is a dumb motherfucker.
Damn. He is.
And Joe
that's
Rogan was just
awesome.
sitting there. He's like, nah, dude, it's these guys, they just they
They're
they tell
nice,
me whatever.
man.
It's so.
Good retort, Joe.
Yeah, they're nice.
Dude, we have 3 minutes.
Yeah, we didn't answer many of the questions today, but in a roundabout way, we kind of did in a better way. So you're welcome, I guess. Keep subbing and supporting on Patreon. Helps us eat.
We still have 3 minutes if you.
Yeah, well, I'm just
I'm
want to.
sick of being a heterosexual male.
What do you mean?
Just is
No,
there
you're
is there
culturally
ever a
homosexual.
point where 3 heterosexual guys can get together and not mention Joe Rogan?
No.
Is that possible?
4.
That's more heterosexual than being into women. Is it?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah,
It is
that's
at this
number-
point. Just
it is.
dude,
Because
did you see
I'm into
Elon
it now.
Musk?
Chris
No,
Love.
I think he's right.
I'm into it now.
He's super
yeah,
serious.
he's into it.
I don't
not
want to
you
high
too.
five this because I'm kind of.
it.
Dude,
Jordan,
sometimes.
don't buy Jordan's thing of like he's kind of stupid.
Sometimes
okay, what's the
those
alternative?
experts are interesting,
the ABC, 7 News, and like
You know what I wish
Neil
was
deGrasse-
the alternative? I will trade this in a heartbeat. I wish Sam Harris was in his position.
no way his voice.
No,
is annoying.
you know what? Like, dude, Joe Rogan invites a whole.
True.
Yeah.
So I'm interested in like,
But he has hair.
that is true. That is actually. I take it back.
guess
The
they do
hair
even
point
out.
on
Yeah.
point.
So you go.
But Joe Rogan is actually. I'll defend him for the first time. He's got this weird ability where most people that are in front of camera
Lie.
have this like thing of trying to dominate. He has none of that. He literally just like lets people
He
speak.
used to.
Did he?
He did it for a very long time on his podcast. He's only recently got into that of just replacing, here's my dumb opinion of my head that's been beaten in a lot. You ready? Oh, and also I'm high at the moment. He's replaced that with just sucking on a joint, and it's made the podcast way better.
Yeah.
No fucking way.
I
That's
still
the
think
difference.
that's a lot better than like Carl. Yeah, like whatever his name is, Channel 7 here. Like, 7 News tonight. A puppy has gone astray in the suburbs of Gladesville. Joe Rogan is a step in the right direction. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, but
Well,
what
you
I'm
get-
saying is I like Carl Stefanovic more.
We know you do.
sake.
Dude,
I
contrarian.
really
the ultimate
like Carl.
contrarian.
Yeah, you are a bit of that sometimes.
All right, well, thank you guys for watching, listening. If those of you who
Hope you enjoyed it.
Let's just put this out there, though. If you could live in the alternate universe where it was called the Stefanovic experience, I'm there.
You're
That'd
the
be
only
so
one there,
much
though.
better.
That's the problem.
Is that it?
I'd go on holiday.
Guys on Twitch before we go, just visit.
I'd go on holiday.
Thank you guys for
That's
listening.
it.
Yeah, thanks for
subscribe
saying-
on Twitch.
Please subscribe. We
and,
love you. We love you
and
all.
Yeah, and also on our Patreon if you want.
yeah, like
Get a bonus podcast if you do that, just saying.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
true. You get like real raunchy stuff.
you get
on the upload.
really raunchy podcasts
Too hot for Twitch.
that no one else is going to get. It's believe me, it's worth it.
Because it's not filmed, you don't know this, but none of us are wearing shoes.
Racy.
Jordan sits naked. Anyway, see you guys.
But yes, thanks. Bye.